तत्परं विद्महे ज्ञानलिङ्गेश्वराय धीमहि तन्नो गुरुप्रचोदयात्। ॐ योगमहिष्णं स्वामी गीतानन्दगिरि गुरु महाराज की जय। ॐ गुरुवे कलैमामणि पुदुवै शक्ति योगचारिणी अम्माजी मीनाक्षी देवी भवनानी गुरु माता की जय। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। Such an honor to be here at a place that is sacred. The word Mandiram doesn't just translate as a center, as an institute. It translates literally as a sacred space where the divine resides. And no wonder it is a yoga mandiram where the spirit of yoga itself resides in its pristine purity. And as a dedicated place that pays homage to the father of modern yoga, Krishnamacharya himself, created by the father of modern yoga therapy, which is his own illustrious son, our dear Sri Vidyapeeth Yogacārya. Whenever you visit KYM or Mandiram as it is called, I have a feeling of coming home. Not just home, but sweet home. In the word H-O-M-E, the central two letters are Om. Any place where you are at home, it is Om. And what is Om? Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha. So when you are at ease with yourself, with your own inherent divinity, at that point, you are in a state of Om-liness. Not about holiness, Om-liness. When last month we had our International Health Research Convention at Pondicherry, we had the opportunity to once again have with us my most respected senior in this field of yoga and yoga therapy, and someone I consider a personal mentor, my dear Sridhar sir. Along with him, we had our beloved Mami also with us, and we always want the blessings of the Dambadi. This is a very special occasion because tomorrow we celebrate our wedding anniversary. So, we make a point to come and get your blessings here. Sridhar sir and my dear Vidya, who I had the privilege of meeting many years ago at Pondicherry when she came with Lataka to one of the international yoga festivals. Both had come to the International Health Research Convention at a medical science university. Many of you were also there. Where yoga therapy, music therapy have come together not as a pathy, not based on disease but on wellness. And the modern term for that is Salutogenesis, given by Anandaji in 1979. He gave us a modern term. Salutary is health, wellness. Genesis, the factors that enable health and wellness to manifest. In 1979, he gave us a term that today gives us a window of opportunity into the medical science, into the humanities, into all aspects of education and research where we can take forth the ancient traditional wisdom of this country, because I be so beautifully, the wisdom of this country, that is a gift to humanity. Because it transcends all boundaries. You have medicine sans frontiers. We have yoga sans boundaries. But yet people fight about my yoga and your yoga. How ignorant we are. So childish we are. At our university, which is one of India's top universities today, we can have an institute focusing on wellness. Now imagine going to any hospital, you are healthy and you go to a hospital, most probably they'll send you to the psychiatrist. If you go to a hospital and say, I'm healthy, I want to know how to be more healthy, they'll send you to the psychiatrist. Nobody knows what to do. But you can come to our hospital and they'll send you to the yoga therapy and music therapy wing. I feel this is just such a beautiful, momentous occasion that is happening. And who was the person who came and cut the ribbon of inauguration when we first started in 2010 as a center for yoga therapy? Sridhar sir. Who came last year when we were having yoga day and we made the announcement of the institute? Again, my dear Sridhar sir. And so the connection is very, very deep. When Nritya was talking about me being on so many committees, every one of those committees I am there sharing space with sir, and we have these beautiful sessions on the sidelines of all these meetings, which are more important than the meetings. Because committee meetings serve only one purpose. Come, eat, have tea, and don't commit. That is what committee meetings. Come, eat, have tea, and don't commit. So whatever happens on the sidelines is more important. I would like to express my admiration for all the faculty members here of KYM, all the students, the families of the students who have come here today. This is my extended yoga parivar, my extended yoga kudumbam, my yoga family. Because yoga is a big family. You know, we may belong to different gotram, we may belong to different, aspects in society, but we are all one ultimately. Logam Pondicherry, as Balaji tells us, he reminds us that. You have got a piece of paper today, actually a very nice piece of paper, that tells you and tells the world that you are a certified yoga therapist by the KYM tradition. Congratulations. This is like in our Bhavanani, we have an Anandaji. And the student will learn some compositions and they get on stage and do the Anandaji. Most probably after that will never go on stage again. And there will be one photo album for showing relatives, especially when the marriage season comes. And one video to show and put on YouTube that once upon a time I was also a cake dancer. This is our usual alligator stuff. Please make sure this paper doesn't stop there. Please. For the sake of yoga. For the sake of yoga therapy. Because you have put in so many hours, so many months, so many years of your practice in learning. Your teachers have put in so much of effort in sharing their knowledge and wisdom with you. You have been blessed to be in the temple, the sacred temple of yoga, in honor of the great father of modern yoga and created by the father of modern yoga therapy. Please remember how responsible you have to be. It is a great honor, but it's a great responsibility to take it forward and share with others. Share for the sake of sharing. My motto, sharing is caring. Not sharing for the sake of what you will get. That is business. That is barter system. I will give you yoga therapy, what will you give me? Barter system. You are an ordinary businessman. Can you share for the sake of sharing, for the sake of yoga? Yoga for the sake of yoga. That's all. Full stop. Not yoga for diabetes, yoga for hypertension, yoga for insomnia. It sounds like you do yoga, you get diabetes. Yoga for diabetes. This is what we are selling today. Managing diabetes through yoga therapy. It's a better way to face it. Yoga for some. Yoga for yoga. Yoga for yoga's sake. Love for love's sake. Respect for respect's sake. Gratitude for gratitude's sake. Life for life's sake. Because as a yoga therapist, recently we have had some meetings of the yoga therapy committee. The Sridhar sir nicely put the bag on my shoulder and said, Ananda, you carry this bag. I'll be there to be by your side and support you. We are working on trying to make sure that the term yoga therapy gets replaced with yoga chikitsa in as many places as possible. Because the moment you say therapy, it has its own bag of connotations in the modern. If you go and tell somebody, I'm going for therapy, you already have prejudice very, very high. Doesn't matter what therapy it is. Yoga chikitsa is the opposite. It's a growth-based process. It's an evolutionary process. It's a growth of the spirit, as they say, Uddhavet Atma Atmanam. Lifting the self, by the self, for the sake of the self, into the self. They say the journey of the self, through the self, to the self. You have to do it yourself. It is an empowerment. Right from the beginning of the IAYT, I have been part of its advisory council. And I keep on struggling with the fact they took the word empowerment out of their definition a few years back. They took the word empowering out. I'm like, yoga as a therapy is the best self-empowerment system we have. You go to a hospital, you expect a doctor to do it for you. You expect a physical therapist to do it for you. In yoga therapy, nobody is going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. We are a facilitator, as Nritya put it. We are not the healer. We are the tool of healing. We are the vehicle. We are the transport system. In medicine, we talk of transport ions that transport things across membranes. You are like that. You are the carrier system. You are the transport system. You are not the doer. We have to remember, we are only the tool. There are three beautiful attitudes given in our culture. One is Narayana Baba. Second, Narayana Arpana Baba. And third is Nimitta Baba. Either you do it as an offering to the divine, you do it as if the divine is doing through you, or you are just the tool for the divine to work. How does the divine see? Through our eyes. How does the divine think? Through our mind. How does the divine give? Through our hands. How does the divine move? Through our feet. Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. Divine has 1,000 heads. If something comes in this room with 1,000 heads, you think we'll all say, oh, Narayana, we'll run away. It doesn't mean a CGI monster. 1,000 heads is not to be taken literally. 1,000 feet, Sahasrapad. Imagine 1,000 feet, 1,000 heads. If someone comes in with 5 heads and 6 heads, today is good to go and see Muruga also. Maybe go this evening. You will run away. What does it mean? Every mind is a mind of the divine. The divine is cognizing through our mind. The divine is seeing through our eyes. We are the CGI of the divine. We are the CCTV of the divine. We are the computer of the divine. We are the mobile phone of the divine. That's another way to describe yourself. When we realize we are not the doer, we are not the healer. I have a big issue with this word healer. The people call themselves healers and I cringe a bit. We can only facilitate healing. We cannot heal it. Healing comes from within. But what does Yoga Chikitsa do? It potentiates the self-healing mechanisms of that individual so that they are healing themselves through our facilitatory process. That is why it is wellness-based salutogenesis rather than illness-based pathogenesis. And please, make sure you are not treating somebody else's diagnosis. Someone has diagnosed, this person has diabetes, this person has cancer, this person has hypertension. It is not you treating somebody else's diagnosis. You are creating your own yogognosis. Yoga diagnosis, yogognosis. You are creating your own yogic assessment to understand the person from a yogic perspective. Now when you talk to the doctors, you have to use their language. You have to tell the doctor, I am working on a yoga therapy protocol for your patient's diabetes, and we are looking at lowering the blood sugar level by enhancing the insulin sensitivity. When you use these terms, then they are happy. They say, you don't go and tell them your patient has an imbalance of the pitta dosha and the tamasika guna is predominant. Hence, I am going to use certain pranayamas to work on the kleshas, and then we will eradicate the dosha. They throw you in the psychiatric lunatic thing along with the patient. You don't say that to the doctor. You have to understand what is the language you speak to the doctor. But never forget, your goal is not to treat somebody else's diagnosis, but you are assessing the individual. As is rightly put in this tradition, the individual is placed at the center. Everything revolves around that individual. Who is the individual? Where are they now? Where can they be? What are the possibilities? How can we have them travel from where they are to where they can be? That is our journey. The Hetu Hana Upaya, whole journey is that only to the Vyuha. Whenever I hear Chatur Vyuha, I always remember, don't be like Abhimanyu. Caught half the Vyuha and he doesn't know how to come out. We have a story in the Mahabharata, Abhimanyu who gets into the Chakra Vyuha. He knows how to get in, he doesn't know how to come out. So in therapy, you have to be careful, you know how to go in and how to come out also. Otherwise, you often find this, I find a lot of this happening, people do half-baked therapy and then somebody else to clean up the mess. You don't want that happening. Because that type of thing then gives bad press. We don't want bad press. Often, I'm sure here at KYM you will have seen a lot of this. People will come and say, I went to such and such person and they said they're giving me yoga therapy. Now I have all this problem, what can I do? And you are rectifying somebody else's quackery. It's a lot of quackery. Because today, I do a weekend of yoga, I become a yoga teacher. Another weekend of yoga, I become a yoga therapist. 2 weekends of yoga, I become the Mahaguru. That is why it's all about quality, not quantity. It's not about standardization, but it's about setting standards. And you are coming from an institution through a training process that has set the highest of standards. It's now your responsibility to keep up to those standards. Maintain those standards, sustain the standards, and enhance them for the future generation. We don't stop where we are. We have to go further. We have to take things further. Many years ago, I wrote one of my first books. It was on a primer of yoga theory. This was around 2019, 2020. And I sent this small book of 50, 60 pages which had compiled a lot of question answers about yoga, philosophy, psychology for the students for easy reference. So it's a primer of yoga theory. I sent it to all the institutions, all the big gurus, everybody I knew, because thanks to my father and mother, I knew the address of all these people. Some of them wrote back, some of them didn't bother to write back. One person wrote back, we don't read books written by others. I got an actual answer from one eminent person also. And at that time I got a beautiful letter from two people. One was Sri T.K.V. Yogacārya. The second was my dear yoga uncle, Vidyapeeth. And Yogacārya sir sent me a beautiful message where he said, may your future grow like the rising sun. That was a blessing from a man who had a son similar to my age, similar to my upbringing. And a normal father would say, oh my God, this guy is a threat to my son. And here was a father who could go beyond that and understand that there is something else in the world, a future beyond it. Later on, when I wrote my Yoga Darshana book, I again requested him, and he wrote a beautiful blessing for me. What I owe him is something very personal. That is why, come what may, I have stood by this tradition. I will continue to stand by it, support it in all its dimensions. Because he has gone out of his way for me. I was not a student directly, but I consider his blessings a great blessing in my life. The responsibility to be human. We have been born human, not by accident. Not by accident. There's nothing like an accident in this universe. If we are born human, it is so that we can live as a human being. And to be human is to care and share. Only the human being can care and share without limitation. Care and share unlimited. Universal unlimited. Care and share, universal unlimited companies. Please make sure you are a caregiver for those who are coming to you seeking care. And to care is to be careful. Careful means to be full of care. Which means that you make sure that you are capable of helping them, and if you are not capable of helping them, please revert them to somebody else. The first rule of modern medicine is do no harm. The first rule of yoga, if you want to call it a rule, is ahimsa. If you cannot help somebody, at least don't harm them. That is what I tell my students. You should know when to refer somebody, and over the past 30 years of very active work in teaching and therapy, I have followed this principle. When I feel somebody can benefit from somebody else, I will refer them, be it to another yoga therapist, another doctor, a specialist, or whatever care they need. We should have that humility. We are not God. We don't know it all. Yet. We are potentially God, yes. I say we are Ishvara with amnesia. If you think about it, that's what we are. Once we remember who we are, Kaivalya is there. So Ishvara with amnesia. It's a nice way. So we are potential Ishvaras. But the problem between potential and manifestation is often. We always quote Swami Vivekananda. Every soul is potentially divine. It's not Vivekananda, it's the Vedic Mahavakyam. But he said it, so it became popular. It's what the Vedas have said, and I love the fact Sridhar sir put it that way. The context of yoga within the Vedas has to always be understood. Modern yoga scholars are trying to separate these things. They are part of a culture. Let us not take it away. But what we have to realize is we are potentially divine, yes. But we need to put in some hard work to get there. That hard work is the sadhana. That sadhana is that abhyasa that has to be there, all of that has to be there. And if that is there one day, just like we say, prasada phala siddhi rastu, yoga sadhana phala siddhi rastu will manifest. all of us. Be human, care, share, be responsible, and all will manifest when you are ready for the experience. You cannot grab the experience, but you can prepare yourself for the experience. And the better prepared you are, the more likely experience. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, Anandaji. I think the squabbles are at the level of the Shishyas. At the Guru level, they're all the same, and I think they basically say the same thing. And it's so, I must say, it's so heartwarming because Anandaji also represents a great yoga parampara, and that so much of what he spoke of reminds me of what Sir would always tell us, that yoga is connection. And in the absence of connection, there is no yoga. And another thing that is very deep, but also so typically Sir, to those who knew him, he said, I'm a postman. And I think that is the thought that Dr. Ananda has triggered, that's the memory that his speech triggered in me. So thank you for being here and for sharing so much of value and insight to all of us today. May I request Swaminathan Sir, our